Ouch. Yeah, okay. See how he is. Yeah. Alright, let's get right to shot. Double honor to the apostle brother Elder Great Millstone. Shalom to the host for the elect.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's Dina Calmetta here, and for today's news, I do have some very heated headlines. And I'd like to start U.S. because both are stating that they're ready for war. China's military declared on Monday that it's ready to fight after completing 3 days of large-scale combat exercises around Taiwan that simulated sealing off the island in response to Taiwan's president's trip to the U.S. last week. China's military said earlier that the combat readiness patrols, named Joint Sword, were meant as a warning to self-governing Taiwan, which China claims as its own. The theater's troops are ready to fight at all times and can fight at any time to resolutely smash any form of Taiwan's independence and foreign interference attempts. It goes on further to report that between 6 a.m. on Sunday and 6 a.m. on Monday, a total of 70 planes were detected and half crossed the median of the Taiwan Strait, which is an unofficial boundary accepted by both sides. By Monday evening, Taiwan's defense ministry reported another 91 flights by bombers, as well as multiple fighter jets and early warning aircraft and military transport planes. Now, that followed a full day between Friday and Saturday in which 8 warships and 71 planes were detected near Taiwan. Taiwan said it monitored the Chinese moves through its land-based missile systems as well as from its own Navy vessels. In the meantime, the U.S. Navy announced on Monday that one of its guided missile destroyers sailed near a Chinese man-made island in the South China Sea, drawing accusations from Beijing that the ship illegally trespassed in the area. The U.S., of course, stated that it was a freedom of navigation operation. But China said that it has indisputable sovereignty over the South China Sea islands and their adjacent waters. The troops of the PLA's Southern Theater Command will always stay on high alert and resolutely safeguard China's national sovereignty and security, as well as peace and stability in the South China Sea. The United States says it's also ready for war with China. U.S. Congress would authorize a direct military confrontation with China if Beijing launched an attack against Taiwan. According to House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCall, American lawmakers, he said, would consent to putting boots on the ground if people in the U.S. support the measure. He said if Communist China invaded Taiwan, it would certainly be on the table and something would be discussed by Congress and with the American people. If the American people support this, Congress will follow. However, the congressman insisted that the conflict is always a last resort. The representative also maintained that discussions about a potential use of force by America in the Indo-Pacific region served as a deterrent for peace, since you don't have NATO in the Pacific. Doing otherwise would be inviting aggression and war, he claimed. France's President Macron has demanded that Europe reduces its reliance on the United States and avoid getting dragged into a confrontation between the U.S. and China over Taiwan. The statement made during Macron's 3-day state visit to China could risk riling Washington and highlights the divisions in the European Union over how to approach China. Macron emphasized his pet theory of strategic autonomy for Europe, presumably led by France to become a third world power. He said that the great risk Europe faces is that it gets caught up in crises that are not ours, which prevents it from building its strategic autonomy. He also highlighted his concern about growing tensions in the region that could lead to a terrible accident. Macron went on to state that Europe's dependency on U.S. for weapons and energy and the extraterritorial U.S. dollar were 2 factors singled out as reducing Europe's autonomy. He suggested that Europe should focus on boosting European defense industries and reducing its reliance on the dollar. The French leader emphasized that Europe needs to have a European strategy in areas such as Ukraine, relations with China, and sanctions. He warned against getting into a bloc versus bloc logic and said that Europe should not be caught up in disordering the world in crises that are not ours. He also said that it's not in Europe's interest to accelerate a crisis over Taiwan. The worst thing, he went on to state, would be to think that Europeans must become followers on this topic and take our cue from the U.S. agenda and the Chinese overreaction. Finally, he cautioned that if the confrontation escalates too quickly, Europeans won't have the time or the resources to finance our strategic autonomy and will become vassals. Now, with that said, NATO will launch its largest air exercise in history this summer. It will include over 10,000 forces from 24 nations, including the U.S. Approximately half of the forces in Exercise Air Defender will belong to the U.S. Air National Guard. It is dispatching units from 46 wings nationwide with hundreds of Guard members. The exercise is slated for June 12th through the 23rd and aims to project a united front in Europe. In the meantime, over in the Middle East, Iran has kickstarted a multi-front Middle East war against Israel. A week of attacks on Israel, including rockets fired from Lebanon, Gaza, and Syria, represents the manifestation of an Iranian strategy to confront Israel with multiple threats on different fronts. Although different groups may be behind the attacks from those places, these groups are likely all linked to Iran. The groups involved include Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, and others that may go by different or new names, but which are all proxies of Iran. Iran has long sought to bring its conflict with Israel to the Jewish state's borders. Its backing of Hezbollah and Hamas was key to that strategy over decades. When one looks at the larger picture, the Iranian partners and groups is seeking to threaten Israel from multiple areas. This is also unprecedented in terms of the rocket fire from Lebanon and Syria over such a small period of time. In general, peace has prevailed along the Lebanese border since 2006. Now Iran is showing that it can heat up any border using various groups whenever it wants to. Now, according to the Jerusalem Post, the IDF and the Israeli police have already been calling up reservists in anticipation for a wider conflict. The IDF last week had already called up unspecified numbers of reservist border police officers and air defense and air force attack personnel. On Saturday, it was announced that there would be reinforcements of police in Tel Aviv following a car ramming attack there. Then on Sunday, the IDF and Israeli police announced that they were calling up additional 4 companies of reservists, after having called up 6 companies in recent weeks. All of this came after the IDF called up multiple additional battalions, larger than companies, in recent weeks to handle security issues in West Bank hotspots. Now, in addition to that, the Turkish president told his Iranian counterpart over the phone last week that the Islamic world should be united against Israel's attacks in Palestine. The 2 world leaders also discussed the incidents at the mosque. The Turkish president noted the importance to preserve the status of holy areas and emphasized reasonable thinking in order to prevent further escalation of violence in Israel and the Palestinian territories. On the same day, the Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen told his Turkish counterpart that the IDF will respond to any attempt to terrorize civilians. Now, with that said, the United States Navy has launched a submarine capable of carrying a large payload of missiles into the Middle East in an apparent warning directed towards Iran. A commander stated that it is capable of carrying up to 154 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles and is deployed to U.S. Fifth Fleet to help ensure regional maritime security and stability. So we are without a doubt seeing some very hot tensions. From the United States to Taiwan to China, Ukraine, Russia, and in the Middle East, which we want to pay attention to because Israel is God's prophetic time clock. And as always, I will continue to keep you updated. Please do leave your comments below this video. I'd love to hear from all of you. And thank you, everybody, for watching. God bless and stay safe.
Alright, let's get right to these scriptures. Let's go to Joel chapter 2, verse 1. It say, Joel chapter 2, verse 1, it said, blow your trumpet in Zion. Hold on, okay, yeah. Joel chapter 2, verse 1, it said, blow your trumpet in Zion, and sound alarm in my holy mountain. Let all that inhabit the land tremble, for the day of the Lord come forth. It's not at hand, right? We are blowing the trumpet. Let's read again. Joel 2, verse 1. It said, blow your trumpet in Zion, and sound alarm in my holy mountain. Let all that inhabit the land tremble, for the day of the Lord come forth. It is not at hand, right? So we are blowing the trumpet. All right, what else? Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. It says, for every battle of the warriors is with confusion noise and a garment rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning fury of fire, right? Burning a fury of fire. Isaiah 9, verse 5, it says, for every battle of the warrior is with confusion noise and a garment rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fury of fire, right? Burning and fury of fire. What else? Trying to keep writing. Let's see what else I got. No, I kind of. All right, let's go to let's get right to it. Okay. Get Joel. No, I want that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 16, verse 3. It said, in the morning it will be far weather. Today, for the sky is red. Lord, you hypocrite, you could discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the time, right? You could discern the signs of Matthew 16, verse 3. In the morning it will be far weather today, for the sky is red. Lord, you hypocrite, you could discern the face of the sky, but can you not discern the signs of the times, right? What else? Luke, don't want that. Let's go to Luke 21, verse 34. Luke 21, verse 34, it say, and take heed to yourself, at any time your heart be overcharged. Hold on. No, I messed up. Nope, let's go to Luke 12, verse 56. Go to Luke 12, verse 56. It says, you hypocrite, you can discern the face of the sky and of the earth, but how it that you do not discern this time, right? Discern this time. Right, how you discern this time. Luke 12, verse 49. You suppose that I come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division, right? Rather division. Luke 12, verse 56 again. Luke chapter 12, verse 56. It says, you hypocrite, you can discern the face of the sky, of the sky and of the earth, but how is it that you do not discern this time? Correct. Okay, what else? First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. It said, but of the time and season, brother, I don't need that I write unto you. For yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night, right? So come as a thief in the night. Let's just say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them, as trod upon a woman with child, and they should not escape, right? They should not escape. Verse 4, it said, but you, brother, do not in darkness that they should overtake you as a thief, right? That they should overtake you. Verse 5, you are the children of the light, and the children of today. We are not the night, nor of darkness. Verse 6, for therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober, right? Let us watch and be sober. Verse 7, for that sleep in the night, and that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober and put on the breastplate of faith and love, and the helmet, the hope of salvation, right? The hope of salvation. For the Most High not appointed us to wrath, but to attain salvation by our Lord Yahushua anointed. Right. Verse 11, wherefore comfort yourself together and edify one another, even as us also you do, right? What else? All right. 1 Peter 4, verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer, right? Watch unto prayer. Watch unto prayer. What else? What else? Oh yeah, Jeremiah. No, let's go to Revelation. Always get this. Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. It said, blessed he that readeth, and that hear the word of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein. For the time is at hand, right? For the time is at hand. Revelation 11, verse 4. Revelation 11, verse 14. It says the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quick, right? The third woe coming quick. Revelation 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quick, right? The third woe coming quick. And what else? Let's go close out scripture. Ezekiel 33, verse 33. Ezekiel 33, verse. Let's go to verse 31. And they came unto Let's go to 30. Jeremiah 33, verse 30. Also thou son of man. Also thou son of man. The children of thy people stood are talking against thee by the wall and the doors of thy house, and speaking one to another, even everyone to his brother, said, come and pray you, and hear what the word that come forth from the Lord Yahweh Shemashah. And they came unto thee as the people came, and they set before thee as my people, and they hear the word, but they would not do them for with their mouths. But they would not do them for with their mouths. They show much love, but their heart going after their own their heart go after their covetousness. Verse 32, and lo, there are unto them a very lovely son, a one that had pleasure voice, can play well on the instrument, for they hear the words, but they do them not. In verse 33, when it is come to pass, lo, it will come, and they shall know that a prophet had been among them. Right? They shall know that a prophet had been among them when it's come to pass. Ezekiel 33, verse 33. And when this come to pass, lo, it will come, and they shall know that a prophet had been among them. Right? They should know that a prophet had been among them. What else? I think that should be it. They should know that the prophet had been among them. So I'm going to close out right there. So we're going to give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Shah, double honor to the apostle, brother, elder, great millstone. Shalom to the whole